Yes, I'm doing another video about my personal views, and this topic this topic really bothers me. This topic really fucking bothers me, right? You notice this about racism, right? Because I'm obsessed with fucking racism, because for years I always had in my mind all the time, either in my daily life, about white supremacy. I always had this fear about these motherfuckers could rise, or these motherfuckers could rise once again in Europe. And see, when I uncover, right, Hitler wasn't a fucking white supremacy. He was an anti-Semitic, an ethnic supremacy, because in Europe, white supremacy cannot exist in Europe. And the reason why is because Europeans, they fight against each other on ethnic, religion, and based on regions and stuff. I mean, there is racism in Europe. I won't deny it. But at the same time, you can also be discriminated because of your race, because of your ethnicity. I mean, like for example, right? England, for example, got racist. I mean, there's anti-black and anti-Muslim. At the same time, in England, you know there's anti-Polish. You know there's cases where Polish people have been discriminated against. Polish people either had incidents with the police. But you don't see that in America. You ain't gonna see no white cop in America beat the shit out of Polish people or discriminate against Polish people. But this stuff happened in Britain. If you're a black person in Britain, they ain't only if you being straight because you're black. These British were discriminated against Polish as well. But it's different in America. In America, this doesn't matter what fucking European tribe they from. They all fucking one. You are the fucking enemy if you ain't white. That's just simple as that. Like, see, what I mean by Hitler was not a racist is because if he was a racist, then he would have been murdering non-whites that are other European. Because nobody back then when they gave a fuck. This is the 1930s and the 40s. You gotta remember, America is not a world superpower. The Germans could have went anywhere in Africa, Asia, Latin America, and they could have fucking murdered any non-whites they wanted to, and the fucking governments of the Europeans when they gave a fuck. Because Germany, 30 years before the Nazis, they was killing fucking blacks in some part of Africa. I forgot what part of Africa. I don't know, was it Nuremberg or some stuff? I forgot the name of that country. But they was killing a lot of fucking blacks in the early 1900s, way before the Nazis came to power. Germany and all these other European powers didn't give a fuck. He could have did that again. But you see, right? The whole thing why Hitler is so loved by these fucking white dudes, because Hitler is perceived as the godfather of white supremacy, in which he wasn't a white supremacy, because white supremacy never had a fucking hierarchy. And what I mean about hierarchy, right, out of all the years white supremacy existed, they never had a fucking hierarchy like a dictator who can actually orchestrate as a state. They never fucking had it. They always existed within either groups or they fucking existed within a mainstream society. And they never fucking had hierarchy. Because you notice this, right? White supremacy only exists outside of Europe. It can never function in Europe because Europeans tribes hate each other based on religion and ethnicity. White supremacy can never exist on the continent of Europe. Never. Because white nationalists from America goes over there to Europe about the whiteness, but the whole thing about whiteness over there will never work out because they tribes will always fight each other over religion and ethnicity and region. That will always happen. Don't matter what don't matter about the far right, because if the far right came to power in Europe, they will still have prejudice towards other Europeans. For example, Golden Dawn in Greece. Golden Dawn was considered by white nationalists as a rise into power, but Golden Dawn also beat the shit out of Polish. They beat the shit out of other Europeans too. It wasn't like they was going out there want to fuck up the Muslims or the blacks or the Asian. They were fucking people who was whites from other Europeans too. Don't matter if Marine Le Pen, when it came to power, she was for French. She was for French nationalists. She would have fucking discriminated against fucking Germans if there was a large influx of them in France or British or Italians, because they was for French. Because the far right come to power, don't matter, they could be anti-Muslim, but they could be anti-other Europeans or Jews. See, when I talk about white supremacy, it's right exists outside of Europe, is because they go to other non-whites countries when the Europeans explorer took over these other non-white countries. Like these European tribes are all against each other, and what they do is they put their religion and their tribal problems aside and said, let's stick together and pray off these non-whites. And that's what they do, and that's create white supremacy. It's a united white religion, united white ethnic group. and they put their shit aside and they all stood together to unite against people who ain't European, for they can prey off and exploit. That's what a white supremacy is. And the reason why Hitler is liked by these white nationalists in America is because of the fact of, because of the Jews was an ally towards African Americans during the Civil Rights Movement, and this guy Joe Rockwell Lincoln, who was running around glorifying Hitler, he went down to the South and started telling these motherfuckers in the South about these Jews. They running this civil rights, and they ran that, and they ran this communist up in Russia, and these Jews are a threat to the white man. That he go down and tell these whites in the South Hitler was trying to warn us about these dangerous Jews, Joe Rockwell Lincoln. And after the Civil Rights Movement was passed, that's when you had motherfuckers like William Pierre, Richard Butler, David Duke, Tom Messer. I mean, what that other motherfucker name was? I forgot who the name was. David Lane. And that, like, those motherfuckers and all those motherfuckers came out, and other motherfuckers came out, and they was the creator of the white nationalist movement. And they glorified this Hitler guy because of the Jews was an ally to the blacks of the Civil Rights Movement, which Joe Rockwell Lincoln said they was running that communists up in Russia, and they down here trying to run, they down here orchestrating these civil rights and trying to run communists down here, all this bullshit. Like they said MLK was a communist. And they thought a communist takeover, and they thought, and that's when all these white nationalists start hating Jews, because the Jews wasn't never truly hated too much by white America, but they may have been banned from country club, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. See, like for example, like white supremacies, right? What the fear I always had is they might, cause they comes, white supremacy is a dominant nation. What they want to do is, right, it wants to exploit people who ain't like them, and it's all about white males. The white males believe he is the son of Christ, and he believe he is put on this earth to govern non-whites, and he believe his woman is put on this earth to serve him. Because notice this, a white guy can get over any other woman he wants to a woman who ain't white, and he see that exploring her culture. But if his woman try to do it, she's a fucking race traitor, she's a fucking nigger lover, she's every fucking name in the book they call these fucking white women, these white males. See, cause white supremacy had ruined my life, cause I had that shit in my mind for years, these white supremacy. Cause you just grow up just hearing this shit. And notice, let's see, like for another example, like notice this for example, like by white Americans, right? You notice this by white Americans. White Americans tells us, right, that black people, right, to forget about racists don't exist. And they tell us, right, it's in the past. They tell us what happened. They told us racism only happened in the 50s and 60s, and this don't happen no more. But you notice this, they never tell these damn Jews to forget the 40s and the 30s. They never tell these Jews anti-Semitic over. They never tell these Jews to get over what happened to them in Germany. They tell us to forget what happened to us, and they tell them to embrace what Germany did to them. Never forget what Germany did to them. But notice this, right? The Holocaust Museum of Washington, D.C. More white people go up in that Holocaust Museum than Jews and Germans combined. But why is it more white people don't go into the African American Museum in D.C.? That one to open up in September. More blacks go in there. And this is when I went in there once, and everything was in there was black people fighting against whites, fighting against whites during tyranny, fighting against white aggressor. Everything in there. You saw was fighting against whites aggressor. But the Jewish Holocaust, the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., that's German history. White America never fucking persecuted these fucking Jews. And the only reason why white Americans feel comfortable about the Holocaust Museum is because the Jews is white. And the perpetrators who killed them in Europe was white. And the Jews cannot hold white people accountable because they white. And the Jews trying to put their fucking struggle to black, but the Jews got white privileges. They don't get discriminated by the banks, mortgage, loans, housing. They don't be racial profiled by the police. They don't be victim of hate crime. They don't be called racial slurs out of car. They don't experience anti-Semitic by white people. You don't see white people perpetrate all these racial shit towards them. You don't see these Jews having the cops called on them about selling water and swimming pools and all this shit what these fucking white people did to us. You don't see Jews that. And notice that every time some white guy fucking hate a Jew, right, in the media interview, they always gotta bring up fucking blacks and Hispanics involved. Notice this, Michael Savage, a dirty motherfucker Jew guy. This motherfucker, right, Jimmy Carter, right, wrote a book about I see peace and Palestine, not apartheid. And this motherfucker gonna bring up black people, talking about Jimmy Carter don't like black people. It had nothing to do with black people. Why the fuck this motherfucker, dirty, stinking fucking Jew, bring up black people when Jimmy Carter was talking about Jews? What Israel doing? Cause every time a white man talk about fucking Jews, right, they always gotta fucking bring blacks in the mix. Jimmy Carter is not a fucking racist. I don't think he's not an anti-Semitic. His Jimmy Carter dad was a racist, but Jimmy Carter mother was not a racist. And I think Jimmy Carter get that non-racist from his mother, which his dad was. But soon Michael Savage, this motherfucker, gonna bring up black people, gonna put black people in the fucking mental. He hate black people because he brought up a book about the Jews. That's all these motherfucking Jews did. Like David Patman, one time when he interviewed that guy Glenn, I think Glenn Miller, the dude went up, shot up a Jewish center up in Kansas. When he interviewed this motherfucker, he gonna bring blacks and Hispanic in the midst. Why you gotta bring blacks and Hispanic in the midst when some white motherfucker hate y'all? Leave my fucking people a fuck alone. Leave my fucking people name out your fucking mouth when a fucking white dude fucking hate you. You dirty motherfuckers. You motherfucker put up a Holocaust museum up in Washington, and you got white America running there. White America tell y'all motherfuckers to never forget Germany. And but you motherfuckers sit up there, got white privilege. Y'all enjoy the whiteness of America. And while my people were told racists don't exist, my people were told to fucking get over it. And y'all motherfuckers got it all. Got starlight blacks in Israel and all this bullshit. I'm not a fucking anti-Semitic, but I'm just getting sick and fucking tired every time some white dude hate Jews, and the fucking media always gotta fucking ask them what you feel about black. But for white dude hate blacks, they ain't never fucking asked what they feel about Jews. Notice that. But you notice this, right? That's why I'm glad Arthur Jones is running. Because notice this, Fox News never interviewed him. None of these media would not bring Arthur Jones on. But if Arthur Jones would have been a fucking anti-immigrant, anti-black, anti-gay, he would have got fucking interviews by Fox News, would have been on Fox News multiple times. But notice this. When a motherfucker like Arthur Jones, a fucking full-blown Holocaust denier, no fucking media won't touch them. And I'm glad he's running, because this show, there are thousands of fucking white people in America is anti-Semitic. White people. Because they always trying to fucking make like the media, the anti-fucking Semitic is the blacks or the brown. Like, well, I think there was a news article I read about talking about anti-Semitic is less among whites and Asians, but high among blacks and Hispanic. But I don't know about any Hispanic anti-Semitic, but a lot of blacks anti-Semitic came from Farrakhan. And they don't listen to Farrakhan not because of Jew, but because of understanding about the racism they deal in daily life from white people, black people, and Farrakhan mixed the Jews in the mix. That's what a lot of black anti-Semitic come from. I will admit that. The ADL might be right. Maybe anti-Semitic is more high among blacks than whites. I don't know. A lot of it came from Farrakhan. But I will tell you this, Arthur Jones ran for Congress and he got 20,000 whites voted for him, and they know he's a Holocaust denier. That's why I'm glad he ran, because this show there are fucking thousands of white people in America is fucking anti-Semitic. And another thing, I'm glad he's running, because white America like to fucking deny racism, but they won't deny fucking anti-Semitic. They won't fucking deny they won't deny what happened in Germany, but they want to deny fucking racism, but they don't want to deny what happened in Germany. But they tell the Jews to acknowledge what happened to you and tell us to forget what happened to us. That's why there will never be a relationship between blacks and Jews in America because of white America. Because white America will favor they suffering and try to downplay our suffering. And I mean, I admit, it's painful to me. As a black guy, it's painful when you have one fucking group of people will tell this group of people to never forget what happened to you, but tell another group of people to forget what happened to you. That's painful. I was talking to this one white woman a couple of years ago, and I was telling her about how white Americans deny racism and all this, and I asked her why the Germans deny the Holocaust, and she said Germans don't want to be responsible, and I said that's the same thing with white America. They don't want to be responsible either. But I mean, I talked to this German girl at the train station a few years ago, and she told me, she said, why do I gotta feel guilty what happened on the Holocaust? And but we had a conversation about Hitler and the Nazi, but I will say to Germans, y'all come to America and y'all give these white people y'all money, and these white people be telling these Jews to never forget what your country did to them. Either so your grandfather may have not shot a Jew, but they'll tell these Jews your granddad would have shot a Jew if Hitler said so. For I'm telling you Germans, y'all come on to America and y'all say y'all don't want to feel guilty for what happened in the Holocaust. Don't spend your money on these white people, because these white people be telling them not to forget the Holocaust. They tell my people to get the fuck over the 50s and the 60s, but they tell these people to never forget the 30s and the 40s, and these fucking people got reparations from Germany. Your country apologized to them. From West Germany, East Germany didn't, and your country get them military software and all that. But there was a fight. I don't have nothing. What happened to the Jews was a tragedy. But how do you come to America and put your fucking Holocaust in America, and where you had a genocide towards a Native American? My people gotta see Confederate fucking statue. And I'm gonna talk more about this subject and coming more videos in the future.